Hey guys, Marilyn here. So in today's video, we're going to get to know Design Space. All right. So I've logged into my account. However, you know what? Let's start from the very beginning. Yes, I would like to quit, and let me go ahead and open up Google. I'm going to go to Cricut Home, or you can type in Cricut, www.cricut.com. And this is actually our home page for Cricut. All right. So on the home page, it's usually advertising and ideas and promotions for different machines and tools and supplies and all that good stuff. So I'm going to select my account. And then I'm going to select Design Space on the top left. Now this home page here kind of tells you order history, profile, address book, all that stuff. As you can see, I last ordered the mystery box that I did the unboxing for. But we're going to go to Design Space because that's what this video is about. What's funny is before I sat down to do this video, I actually contacted my cousin, and she just bought a new Cricut Explorer Air 2, and my sister recently purchased the Maker, but they don't know where to start. And this is something that I often see people posting on a lot of the crafting pages is, now I have the machine and I have the supplies, but I don't know what to do. I don't know how to start. And my cousin actually said this to me on my birthday the other day. So this is what prompted this video. So I sent my cousin Christy a message, and I'm like, hey, what supplies do you have now? So if I have overflow and you need something, I can give you some of my supplies. And she says, well, don't laugh at me. I only have the machine and tools. But in order to get started, guys, you need supplies. You need the basics. And I've made a little list of basic supplies that I think would be perfect for getting started. So if your machine is in the box, take it out of the box, put the box away, leave the machine out on a counter, in your room, on a kitchen ledge, at the table, something so you can take a look at it, because I am guilty of that. I purchased the Maker when it was very first released, and my Maker was in the box for an entire year. I had the Cricut Explorer Air, the original that was on my desk, and it works flawlessly till this day. And so I always went to the Cricut Explorer Air. I would look at my Cricut Maker in the box, and I'm like, well, it's not like I need to cut any fabric or wood right now. So I left it in the box. So some of the basic tools, first things that you want to get, and this is, we're going to get to know Design Space today, but some of the items that you want to get to start off with are going to be, number one, a cutting mat. You need a cutting mat. I would get a couple sheets of vinyl, whether it's removable or permanent, a sheet or roll of iron-on, also known as HTV, heat transfer vinyl. This vinyl can only be applied to clothing materials by heat. A scraper, some scissors, a pick tool, and a ruler, my favorite tool. A paper cutter, you know, like Fiskars or Cricut, obviously. I have a couple Cricut ones. I've also gifted those to my brother and my sister. So you need a paper cutter so you can cut your vinyl if it's on a roll or something like that. Transfer tape. Oh, excuse me. I've been sick for over a month, and I'm trying to get this cough to go away. It's just lingering. And some cardstock. So you'll need some cardstock, some vinyl, whether it's removable or permanent, iron-on, aka HTV, scraper tool, scissors, a pick tool, ruler, paper cutter, transfer tape, and a cutting mat. I think that's plenty to get started with. So let's get to know Design Space. All right. Let's take a look here. All right. So this is Design Space. This entire space right here is Design Space. Okay, perfect. I have my tools visible on the bottom. All right, so design space, you think you're going to the canvas, but this right here is part of design space. This is where you can see advertisement and promotions and new products. Oh my gosh, I want this Cricut Bright 360 for my crafting videos and sewing. So I can't wait for that to come out. It's got some advertising, $150 off the Cricut Maker. That's a great buy. So that's what this section is up here. Now down here you'll see featured images. These are featured images that Cricut is just kind of advertising. Obviously, Valentine's Day is coming, so here's some projects that you can do. Down here, wait, there was something that I saw on here that I was like, oh my goodness. If you don't know where to get started, this little frog reminds me of my niece. She doesn't look like a frog. Just to be clear, my niece does not look like a frog, but the design of this frog reminds me of when they were kids, and she would always gravitate to little frog stuff. So you have featured images, things that you could do. My projects. This is a section of projects that you have created, and so you'll always be able to go back to your projects. As you can see right here, this is Frosty the Snowman. I did a oversized Frosty the Snowman. That's a little more advanced, so that'll be, I do have a video for that, so you can always take a look at that on my YouTube channel. Here you have a section that says Top Video Playlist. So this tells you how to use different features and different things to do, how to apply with transfer tape and stuff like that. Here's a section for specifically Cricut mug press items. I have the mug press. I haven't done any videos for that yet. However, this is pretty cool. I want to try, this is gorgeous, the mandala stackable mugs. I definitely want to try something like that. And this is used with infusible ink with the Cricut mug press. That's completely different. Here's a little section, a category that says Organize Your Life. These are different little suggestions and projects that you can do to get organized. And the stuff is super simple. So if you're overwhelmed because you have a new machine, I think getting to know design space, once you know how to do that, feeding materials, your mat into the machine is the easy part. Changing your blades and changing your paper materials or vinyl or whatever, that's the easy part. The challenge is getting to know design space, and this is what this video is for. So you have some creative cards here. This one is beautiful. You can do three-dimensional things. Oh, they have these animals that are super cute and they're three-dimensional. I kind of want to make one of those. From the community recently added, these are different projects that Cricut users such as yourself and myself share in the Cricut community. So these are different projects that different Cricut users have uploaded and shared with other people. Iron-on, also heat transfer vinyl, aka HTV. Now this right here, this Be Kind t-shirt, this would be a perfect iron-on project to start with. It's super simple. This looks like a little more advanced, but once you get to use your Cricut die cutting machine, all this stuff is going to be super easy for you. Endless possibilities with the Maker tools. This is geared to people that have the Cricut Maker or the Maker 3. Obviously, we have a rotating blade, a rotary cutter for that machine that can easily cut into fabric. I have cut hundreds of little squares on my Maker for my quilt that I have yet to finish. But this is a lot of felt projects there that's featured in that section. And then my ready to make projects. These projects here are specifically released for Maker machines. So that's what that is. So this is the desktop for design space. Now over here we have these 3 buttons that gives you all these options. We're going to go over all of that. However, you also have this tool right here on the top right which says My Projects. And if I click on that, it's going to have all the projects that I've been working on, but we also saw that on the desktop in the home section. All right, so this is some of the latest things that I've worked with. And right here is a button to select what machine you're working with. You have to make sure you have the corrected machine to work with. I was working on my Cricut Explorer 3 because I had just gotten it and it was set to Explorer 3. But then I went to use my Maker and I'm like, oh my God, why is my project not processing? Well, because I still was selected on my Explorer 3 instead of my Cricut Maker. So that's super important to know. So we're going to exit out of here. We're going to go back to the home page. Now this is technically Design Space. We're in the Design Space section. We're not on the canvas yet. However, this would be the canvas. This is where you get to create your projects, but we're not going there yet. Now, new product setup. This is super easy. Super easy to set up your new die cutting machine, whether you have a Joy or a Maker or an Explorer or a heat press. So this is where you would select to set a machine up. Then you can select the item that you actually have. Or if you have a heat press or the new mug press, you can select which one you have. And it's super simple. As you can see on this screen, it looks very basic. It'll follow you through the steps. Super easy. Yes, please. All right. Calibration. If you need to calibrate your machine because you think that things are a little off, this is where you would go to do that. Managing custom materials. This is a great section, especially, for example, I do a lot of rhinestone projects with cutting them, my sticky flock templates in my Cricut machines, and I had to set my own settings for what my machine can cut. And it's like a flocked material, and it does have a sticky back. This is actually taking a while to load, so we'll have to do that on a different video. But creating your own custom settings for different materials that you often use, that's a great feature. Updating the firmware. I'm not quite sure if Cricut sends us notices. I don't have any connected right now, so I can't update, but that's a good way to find out if you have the latest firmware. Anytime you purchase a brand new machine, that is one of the first things that it checks. It checks to make sure that your firmware on your die cutting machine is the latest and the greatest. So that's awesome. Account details. I don't need to pull up my personal information, but that's what that is. There's an option for linking cartridges. So it says connect a Cricut machine or a cartridge adapter. Now the old school machines used to have a little section where you can insert a Cricut cartridge, and let's say it's a bunch of Mickey Mouse different images. That one cartridge would have all these different Mickey Mouse images, and then you can select from that cartridge what image you want to use. But everything is digital now, so you can pretty much get it from here. So, if you have any cartridges, if you see any cartridges from like Goodwill or something, I'd snatch those up because there's a lot of old school cartridges that were really, really good. Cricut Access. So my cousin asked me, well, what is Cricut Access? Cricut Access is a subscription that allows you to get images to cut on your die cutting machine, whether you want to make an iron-on or cards, gifts, whatever. You have 200,000 images that you can choose from, so you don't have to pay for these images. Now, if you didn't have access and you wanted to cut this Valentine's Day card, you do have to pay a minimal fee to cut that on your machine. So paying $10 a month for me is definitely worth it. Then you have 700 plus fonts that you can use that are already installed in the Cricut program. Exclusive features, automatic background removal. That's a feature that's nice, that if you've uploaded something and you need the background removed, you could use that feature, but again, it's only available for Access users. Also for limited collections and more enhancements. Discount on licensed content from Disney, Marvel, Star Wars, Harry Potter, and more. That's pretty awesome. Priority member care. Jump the whole queue and enjoy 50% less wait time. I wasn't aware of that, but I don't have to call Cricut all that often anyway because my machines work perfectly. I do need to call about my Cricut Explorer 3. It's doing a little something. Scored 10% off of Cricut.com. That is amazing. That's a great feature. So if you have Cricut Access, you can earn 10% off your Cricut order and sometimes free shipping. So that's a nice feature. So if you're considering Cricut Access, you can have access to hundreds of thousands of images for free. That's a great thing to have. All right, settings. Let's take a look at this. Okay, so if you want to save for offline or cloud only, you have those options here. The canvas grid, I do use this option. Let's go to the canvas, and as a matter of fact, I wonder if I can get to it from here. Partial. All right, I'll show you once we get to the canvas how you can change your grid. What's new? All right, so this page is going to let you know what's latest and the newest features in the software. So you can actually help something unique to check out our first 3 pages for beginners, holiday ideas, and everything else. Start from the home and then look under the search bar. Okay. Now you can find whatever you're looking for, the perfect image, project, or even a specific member's profile in one easy search. Oh. And then more shapes. So if you have Cricut Access, you have more shapes that you can access instead of your basic square, lines, circle, triangle. There's more shapes, and then I'll show you that once we get in there. Faster design space upgrade. So in this section, it's going to tell you all the new features that are added in the software. So this is pretty cool. So make sure you take a look at that so you can see everything that is included in the software. And help. This is a great hub if you need help on specific things. Whether you need help specifically on a Cricut Joy, that's the only machine that you have, you can go here and go to Cricut Joy. There's help on a whole section of help on infusible ink. This looks like a bird, but it's the new Cricut Bright 360 lamp. Oh my God, I want that. The Cricut Bright Pad, I have that, I love it. And older machines, blades, tools, accessories, whatever you need. This is a great area for more help. Let's click on the Easy Press. How to update the firmware. We were just talking about that. How to use the Cricut Easy Press. Recommendations, recommended settings. Let's click on that. There's a wealth of information in this section. So everyday iron-on instructions. How do you transfer your heat transfer? What temperature do you need to use? All that good stuff. It's in here. So make sure you use that help button. And again, that's actually really, really good. Like, it's so easily and neatly organized. All right. So where's my, I'm lost. All right. Here's my 3 little buttons. Okay, so we're going to go to the canvas now. We're going to learn a little bit about design space. So I actually changed my grid on that other page, but let's go back to the settings. Here's the settings. I changed it to the partial grid. So if you look at the background, when I change to the full grid, if I go here, you'll see that the background changed, and this gives me all the little tiny squares. Now if I go back to the settings, and I want no grid, it will take my ruler off the entire canvas. And then you still have your ruler up here and on the side. I like the full grid, so I'm going to go ahead and add that there. You have your imperial measurements, which is inches and stuff like that. And then you have your metric, which is metric centimeters. Well, if you know what that is, no need for me to explain it. We're going to go back to imperial. All right. So that's how you change the background. Then you also have templates. Let's see here. Home decor. Let's say I have a bowl that I want to decorate. Templates are reference only and will not be saved with your project. It just kind of gives you a background to work with. There's my bowl. So if I wanted to create something and I put text here, I can kind of like gauge how it would look on a bowl. That's what the templates are. Okay. All right. And I don't want the bowl. Now I have to figure out how to delete the bowl. All right, guys. Sorry about that. I had to take a break. But you wouldn't know because I had it on pause. All right. So if we select projects, you can go straight to another project or another desktop that has all the different categories, and they're all kind of mixed up of different things that you can do. That's so pretty. So you got mug press stuff here, you got maker stuff in here, and it's a lot. So if you know what you're looking for, I'd probably go up here to the right and search for something specifically. Oh my gosh, I want to make these princess dresses. Images. If you go to the images, now we're technically in our canvas space, right? If you go to the images, you can actually search images. I'm going to search for Mickey Mouse. Let's see how quickly we can get something populated here. So here you can also select operation type. If you only want draw only options, you'll want to select that box there. If you want single layers, maybe a drawing item that's only a single layer. Project type, 3D, three-dimensional things. There's these animals. I don't know if I mentioned it, but they're pretty cool. I kind of want to make a three-dimensional one. So this is actually taking some time, but we'll go through these options here. If you want to die cut something out of leather or out of cardstock, specific projects for that type of category or material, you can do that option. Oh, it's got so many languages. Oh, I love that. You can select by language. Ownership. I have items that I've purchased, so if I select that, you'll see all the items that I have purchased, or items that I've personally uploaded, but I have so many and I can't find it. I can select it from there. Available offline downloaded items. I'm not sure what that is exactly because I haven't used it. Or licensed content. Disney. Yes, I want Disney stuff. And I've also searched the Mickey Mouse, so I'm not quite sure why that hasn't populated, but here it is. Super cute. I love this one with the hoodie. I don't know why. This is the old school Mickey that I know. All right. So that's how you can do that. So we're going to go ahead, and if we wanted to add text, this is where you can add text. Okay, so you can add text from selecting this button here. If you go to font right here, you can drop down this menu and you can select a different font. Now you can go to all, which are Cricut ones and system fonts, or you can select system fonts. These are all the fonts that I have in my computer or that I've personally downloaded. Or you can go to specific Cricut fonts and just look at the Cricut fonts. Then you also have this option for only kerned fonts. What are kerned fonts? this displays only fonts with optimal spacing between each letter. So for example, if I unselect that, there's some fonts that if you try to type something, the spacing in between the letters maybe have a large gap. So current fonts, they're going to be, spaced pretty much more even. So this is where you would add text, okay? Shapes. So we're going to go ahead and add a shape, and we're going to learn the different design space features. Okay, so that's not an option. I don't know why I did that. I thought you could drag images to the desktop. That might be a feature that Cricut can add. It doesn't exist right now, but that's a pretty cool feature. So you do have some that are included, and then if you're a Cricut Access member, you can get different shapes. So although you do have a heart up here, this heart shape is definitely different than this one. I'm going to click on this one because it's a little more rounded than the other. All right. So there's a lot of different features here. So we've gone through that. Then if you select uploads, you can select different things that you've uploaded and add it to your canvas, but we'll go over that in a different video. All right, so let's go back to my canvas. So we're going to just learn the features in Design Space. We're not necessarily going to make a project. We're just going to learn what these operations in here mean and everything across here. So I've added a shape. I've gone down here and I've imported a heart. This heart, if we go back to shapes, you'll see that these are the basic shapes that are included for everyone that has a Cricut machine. However, if you own a subscription with Access, you get additional shapes. All right, so these are only for Access members. And then these here at the top are for people that own any Cricut die cutting machine. So I've added a heart. So now what are all these buttons? So first of all, if you look at this box, if I click on my canvas, I've deselected off my image. If I click on the image, I've selected it. You have this button here, which means delete. So if we click on that, it deletes it. But we have this undo button up here on the top left. If I select that, we have our image back. This tool right here allows you to rotate your item. Okay, I'm going to hit the back button because I want to make sure my heart is straight. Oh, that was pretty good. You have this one here with the two arrows. This allows you to drag your image and resize it manually. We're going to leave it that size. And then we also have this button. It's a little lock. Okay, this lock, if I unlock it and I move my arrows, I can skew and change the height of my heart, the width of my heart, and I can skew this image. All right. I don't like that shape, but I'm going to hit the back button and I'm going to click my item here and it's back into the locking mode. All right. So if we go up here to operation, this heart we have set as a basic cut. Now, I don't have a black heart. I have a pink heart. Or you can select the advanced button and choose a different color. So let's take it to like a hot pink. Oops. Let's hit that again. I like that color. We'll go with that. So we have a heart here and this operation up here. So if you select that little box, you can change your heart at any time. Now if we go here and we hit that little drop down button, as you can see there's a little thing of scissors right here. So I'm in the cut category. So I just want to cut this heart out of hot pink cardstock and then we're done. Wavy is if you have a Cricut Maker specifically, there is a tool that's like the rotary tool that cuts through fabric, but it's wavy. The actual cutter, the actual blade, the cutting blade, which is circular, it's also wavy. I don't own that tool, so if you have a maker, you can use that. So then the edge of your heart would be wavy. Perforate. This is a nice option, and I don't know if you specifically need a tool or if the maker will technically cut these little slices. The perforate is a great option. So for example, if I wanted to make this heart into a card and I wanted this heart to be perforated, when someone can lift the heart out and then see the message behind it, that would be a great operation to use, is the perforate tool. So now you have the drawing option. You have this little pencil right here. You can draw the heart with a pen. And of course you have gel pens, metallic pens, markers, infusible ink markers. So you have the foiling option. Now I do have the foiling tool. Again, this is for the Cricut Maker. If I wanted to foil this heart, draw a heart in gold foil or silver foil on a red cardstock, I can choose between my fine point, medium point, or bold point tips. Scoring. So you wouldn't necessarily score a heart, but you can score a line, right? You can score a line if you wanted to. So if you wanted to make a card and you want to score the center of the rectangle, so then when you've cut out the rectangle and you've scored the center of that rectangle and you peel it off your mat, you can essentially have that crease in the center that you can fold easily. That is what the scoring option is. Debossing. So if you have a maker and you have the debossing tool, you can deboss this on like a little piece of cardstock or metal. And the engraving tool. This again is for a Cricut Maker machine. There is an engraving tool that can actually engrave onto acrylic and metal. So that's what that tool is. So some of these options are not going to be available for you if you don't have a maker. Now let me change my machine to the Cricut Explorer and let's see if those go away. All right. So those options for me are going to go away because I don't have the option to engrave my heart. So it goes away there. I'm going to leave it on the maker option. Let's leave it on the Cricut Maker option. Okay. All right. So that's what those are. And then you have print, then cut. So if I wanted to print this heart out, this is just going to send it to my printer that I've connected with my Design Space software, and I'm going to print out a bunch of pink hearts on paper, and then it'll die cut it. So once I've printed it out, it's going to ask me to feed this heart my printed out item here. I'll show you a little later because we're going to use this duplicate tool right over here on the right. But the print then cut is if I want to print this pink heart out and then put it on my mat, insert it into my Cricut die cutting machine, and then it's going to cut out the heart shape. So that's a nice feature. All right, so deselect. So as you can see, my heart is selected because I do have this box around it. I'm going to deselect my heart. Okay. I can also select the heart from up here, or I can deselect it by selecting, clicking on my mat, on my canvas space. So you can select it this way and deselect, or you can select it up here and deselect from up there. Let's go ahead and select the heart so we can go to the editing tool. So now I can cut this heart from my canvas, and again, it's the same thing as using this delete button. Okay, so there's several ways to cut the heart from the canvas. We're going to cut it from here. Well, I want the heart back, so we're just going to hit the back button. If I wanted to delete the heart, I can select it from here, hit the back button to get it back again, or if I select it here, I can delete it from using this option all the way to the right. So there's many ways to get rid of images on here. If I want to copy the heart, if I want to copy it and paste it, that means I want another heart. So I've essentially copied it. I'm going to delete that. But if I select that, I can also go up here and duplicate the heart. Okay? Or you can right-click on the image and duplicate that way. So there's actually 4 ways to delete. So I can actually right-click and delete from here. So that's pretty simple. Now, you can also take the heart, and I love this feature. This is an offset feature. If you wanted to create a background of this heart and copy the exact shape of that heart, you can do it by creating an offset. Click Apply. And now we have 2 layers. You have your front layer, and then you have your back layer. But now because I can't quite line this up exactly the way I want it to, there's this option up here, and it says Arrange. Now, if I wanted to move the pink heart to the back, I can hit Send to Back. But now I don't see my pink heart. Now, how am I going to grab my pink heart and move it exactly to the top of the front of the black heart? I can always go over to this side in my Layers panel, select the pink heart, and then go to Arrange, and then move it back to the front. Okay? So now, I want to exactly line this heart up behind my offset, my second layer, but it may not be exact. So I'm going to select them all this way, or I can drag my mouse across the images and select them both that way. These are now selected together. This Align tool here is awesome. If I select to the left, my heart is going to go all the way to the left. If I select center horizontally, the heart is horizontally, but I don't know if it's even vertically. But I have that option as well. Or I can move my pink heart to the right from the offset. I can align it to the top of the heart. Align the bottom. So the bottom is aligned right here on the tips of the heart. Or I need to select them both to align them. I'm going to align them center. So now my 2 hearts are centered and even around the edges. Okay, so that's what that is. I'll have to add another shape so we can do a flip. Let's add the moon. So right now I don't need the black heart, so I'm going to select the black heart, and over here in the right panel, in order to hide this from my canvas but not necessarily delete it, I'm going to select the eye. It's still there, so if I select it again and I get that cross off the eye, that means I want to view the heart on my canvas. Alright, so we're going to create a blue moon. So we're going to go back up here to this operation and click that box and change the color of the moon. Now to resize an item, so let's go to the flip. We're not to the size yet, but if we want to flip this moon horizontally, you just hit it that way. Let's move it back. Vertically, it's going to look the same because it's the same shape. Now, if we wanted to change the heart vertically and turn it upside down, you could do that with the heart. But I'm going to change it back. So this moon right here, let's say I want to change the size. Again, I can select this little 2 arrows down here and drag it. But I want sometimes if you try to drag it and you get exact, like you want exactly 2 inches, and you're going back and forth, wasting time, just type it up here. Just hit 2 inches, and then your width is exactly the 2 inches that you want. Now, if I want my moon to be 2 inches by 2 inches, I would have to unlock this button here. And now I'm just going to change the height. My width is already at 2 inches, but I'm going to enter 2.0. And now my moon we're going to lock it because I want to keep my moon exactly 2 inches wide, 2 inches high. And again, you can change it this way. If you want to unlock it and change it again, you can also unlock it from the bottom here. And again, this button here rotates the moon. Gonna hit the back button. And then that moon kind of looks a little crazy, so I want to elongate it. So I'm going to try it manually. So I'm going to unlock it here. Then I'm going to drag it just to kind of, it's got a little too much curve on there. So we'll leave it like that. I'm going to lock it back up. So now we've learned what the arrange tool does. We'll put that moon on there. But I actually want the heart to be above the moon, so I'm going to move it forward. You could right click, or again, I can't quite grasp the blue moon because my pink heart, the box that my pink heart is in, it's in the way. So you can click over here in your layers panel, select your moon, go to arrange up here, and then move that to the front. So we've learned what these all mean. Rotate. Now, if I wanted to rotate my moon and I don't want to do it manually because it may not be exactly straight, I can enter the degrees here. Let's do 45 degrees. Yeah, I'm not feeling that. Let's do it 90 degrees. And so on. Okay? You can also use these buttons here to move them a smidge if you wanted to. You could use the arrows up and down. I'm going to go ahead and hit the, well, because I use the arrows, it's going to be a while before it goes back to the way I had it. All right. So, position. Now, if I wanted this moon, sometimes when I'm working and I have a lot of images on my canvas, I lose my images and I can't see them. I'll select which one I want. I want the moon, but I need this moon to go all the way to the top left because I can't work this way. I'm going to hit 0 there, and I'm going to hit Y is going to be 0 as well. Now, sometimes you lose your items too, and you see down here where I'm at, where it says 100%. If you make that to 25%, you can see that your moon is all the way at the very top left corner of Design Space, but then my heart's all the way down here. But now I can just drag my heart up here instead of having to use the position for the heart. So you could either do it either way. Now I'm going to expand my canvas back to 100%. So now I know where my stuff is at. I usually like working in the middle of the canvas because it gives me some space to work around. So that's what you can do. So that's what position is. Now we've already started working with the layers panel here. We know what duplicate is, and we also know what delete is. You also know that if you want to work with a certain design, and let's just say that the moon is behind the heart, if we right click it and we send it to the back, it's hard to get to that blue one from clicking here. So that's why you can click it from the layers panel and then use your arrange, move it forward or send to front. Sorry about that. And then now you can move that off the heart. Okay, so if you didn't want to move this heart, you could do it that way, or you could just drag your items away. Now, let's see. What happens if I put my moon, we're going to make it a little smaller by just dragging it that way, because I don't necessarily need this moon to be a specific number. I just need to make it fit inside my heart here, so that's why I don't need to use this up here. I can use this here. This works better for what I'm trying to do right now. You're going to use these options in different situations. Like right now, I just need this moon to fit in the heart. I don't need it a specific size. If you need something a specific size, then you go back up here. All right. So now what happens if I've layered this on top of the heart and I select them both? Now you have these options down here that just populated. What is this? So slice. This is a great tool. And actually looking at this moon on top of the heart, I see something else. I don't see just a moon on top of a heart. I see a little flap. Because I'm crazy like that. So let's go ahead and select these two and see what other things we can do with these two items. I want to punch this moon out of the heart. So I've selected both of these. You can go up here and hit select all, or you can drag your mouse and select them both together. We're going to select slice. So now this moon has actually punched a hole in the heart. So we want to remove the moon, and then we want to remove the heart. So I'm going to delete this pink one because I don't need it. Now, if I wanted to create a Valentine's Day card, let's just say that I cut this out and I have a card that I'm going to put this on. And let's just say that this is big enough to hold a gift card. This looks like a flap to me. I could essentially tuck the gift card underneath this flap on top of another card. So if I glued this on to like a cute little 5x7 card and I wanted them to see the gift card, so I could tuck that in there. It's cute. All right. So now I've used the slicing tool. So if you want to punch something out, you could do it that way. Let's go ahead and hit the undo button several times until that punch is not on there. And what if we wanted to punch out somebody's name in here? Let's try that. We're going to add text. So we're going to do Marilyn. All right. So in order to punch a name out, these are all, let's see, if I put this on here, will it allow me to slice it? Let's see. It will. Now, do you see how the L and the Y are too far apart? If you wanted to fix that, let's do that. You can hit ungroup. Now you have this little option that you can see. If I ungroup it and I click on my Y, I could use my arrow to scoot my Y over. I can click on the N and scoot the N over. Let's do a little more. All right. So now I like the way the M looks. I'm going to move my heart out of the way, and I just want to select my name, Marilyn. Now I can either group them together, and let's see what happens if I put it on top of the heart. Well, I can't slice that. I wonder why. Well, I ungrouped all these letters, right? So let's move the heart. These have all become individual items, right? But if I weld them and I use the weld button, this becomes one image. So now I'm going to take my heart and then we're going to go here. I'm going to select them both, and now I can slice this. Now I've essentially punched my name out of the heart. And if I want to die cut this and put it on a card and personalize a Valentine, you can personalize. So we're going to go ahead and hit undo. And we're going to forget about the text for now. We're just going to learn the basics. That was a little advanced. I got off path here. I got excited. So we're going to pretend that we're going to just still use the different tools, right? So now, if I select these two, I have the weld option. If I weld these two together, it's going to take out that little, it's essentially going to, here, that's not a good example. We don't want to weld these two. If we do weld them together, let's say, I have an idea. Let's go ahead and make this heart a little smaller. I'm going to right click and duplicate. Don't forget, you have that option. If you hit here, you can duplicate from up here as well. I'm going to take this heart and I'm going to stick it right next to the other heart. You see how they're touching? Let's go ahead and select these two. I'm going to align the bottom of these hearts because I want to make sure that they're perfectly straight with one another. They're touching a little bit, so we're going to select it again, and now we're going to hit the weld button. Now these two hearts are together. You could essentially make this into a Valentine's Day card. Remember that score option? You could add, oops, that's the wrong tool. You see this little line here? Hold on. Let's cut it. I can add this line. This is a score line. we're going to add the score line. And you see how it's just a regular line? Let's turn my hearts back to a pretty color. What are you doing? We'll make it lavender. Now, if I wanted to make this into a heart card, I could add a score line right there. So when I go to send this to my machine, it's going to ask me for the scoring tool. I'm going to insert the scoring tool and it's going to score my piece of paper, and then it's going to cut this into the hearts, but it's not going to cut here because this is already attached. And then when I take this out of the printer, I can fold this in half and I have a little heart card. So that's what the scoring is used for. We're going to delete that. And then we have these two hearts. I'm going to hit the back button because I want to go back to my single heart, but that is the welding tool. All right, we're going to delete that. So now we have the moon and the heart. Let me make this heart a little bigger, and the moon. So now if we select them all, that would have been the weld. Let's just weld the moon to the heart. So you can add different things to make it a certain shape. I want to add this here because I want to make a certain design. I'm going to add these two and I'm going to hit weld again. And so now it changes. This is like permanently attached. That's cute. Let's do something else. Let's hit the back button. I wish there was a way to, once you weld, it's kind of on there. So that's the only thing I don't like about the weld. I wish we could go back to the weld option and click unweld. Instead of having to hit the back button every time you want to remove that option where these were stuck together. Now, if I wanted to make like a little outline heart, let's duplicate this heart. We're going to right click. We're going to change this heart. Actually, we're going to use the offset for this one. Here's the offset, but I've already changed the size of this one, so we're going to create a new offset. All right, you see that little heart shape back there? What if I want to make like an outline of a heart? We're going to hit apply. I'm going to go ahead and select both of those, and I'm going to slice it. So now we have an outline. How cool is that? So there's so many things that you could do with all these shapes. I'm going to hit the back button. We're going to go back to our regular pink heart. So that's a cool option. I love the slicing tool. All right, we're going to select these two, and then we're going to flatten. We're going to skip attach for now. We're going to go to flatten. Now this is if I want to make stickers and I want this moon to print out on a pink heart. That's what it does. So we're going to select that, and then I don't have, so this would actually print, so it would send it to my printer, and then it'll ask me to insert this printed item back into my Cricut machine, and then it's going to cut out the outside of the heart. If I send this to a print then cut. And as you can see over here, it says print then cut. And it's exactly that. It's going to print out your heart with a blue moon printed on the heart, and then it's going to cut out the heart. Okay, so that's what flatten is. We're going to unflatten it. Now, let's say that, let's see, we're going to cut this one. Why does this keep changing colors? I mean, my option. So we're going to cut a purple heart, and I want to cut a purple or a blue moon. I'm going to select both of these, and then we're going to attach them. Okay. And my make it button is not on anymore. So if I were to send this to make it, it would set this up to, let's see if I can plug in one of my machines. All right, guys, I had a little technical difficulties, so my hearts and my moons are a little different in color. All right, so the next option is if I want to go ahead and cut both of these, I want a purple heart and a blue moon, I select them both. I can either drag my mouse and go over them, or once again, I can go up here, select all. I'm going to hit the attach button on the bottom. All right. And if I attach them, these are both going to be the same color. So I need to, what I want to do is I just don't want to attach these because I want these to be in 2 different colors. I'm going to hit the back button. What I'm going to do is I'm just going to hit the make it button. I'm ready to cut my purple cardstock heart and I'm ready to cut my blue moon. I'm just going to hit make it. And since I changed my machine to the Cricut Explorer 3, it's going to give me different options on how I would like to cut my material. If I'm using a smart material, I don't need a mat. If I'm cutting cardstock and I need a mat, I could just select on a mat, or multiple ways. All right. We're going to go back and we're going to go back to the maker. And the reason why I changed my machine is because I'm like, what is going on? So we're going to go ahead and hit make it. I'm going to pretend that I'm on my maker or a regular Explorer 2, Explorer Air, or Explorer machine. And so now, because I have a blue moon and a purple heart, my options to die cut these options is the blue moon is telling me that I need my own blue paper for one mat, and then I need purple paper for the second mat. Now, if I wanted to make this moon into an iron-on, I'm going to go ahead and hit mirror. So this way, it's going to cut out the moon backwards, and then so when I peel this off the mat from the carrier sheet, and we're going to pretend that the carrier sheet is this black square, I'm going to put that face up, I'm going to peel it off, the carrier sheet is going to face me, and then your moon's going to be in this direction, and then you're going to press that onto a t-shirt. Now, if I wanted to cut my purple heart first because I got that one ready and I'm still looking for my blue paper, I can select the purple heart and then just hit continue. So you can decide which item you want to cut first. All right. So, and it tells you up here, prepare 2 mats. I'm going to hit cancel. So that's pretty much it, guys. We're getting close to an hour, but we've been able to go through what all these buttons do and then what these are for as well. There's one thing left, and I'm going to prepare the image so this video is not as much longer. All right, so here is another operation button. We've clicked on this star that has moons punched out of it, right? Let's just say you have an image and it has a lot of little cutouts, but you want to remove these 2 here. You like what the image looks like, but you don't want these extra 2 little moons on the side. So you want to select your image by selecting it up there or clicking on the image. And then now your contour button is down here on the bottom right hand corner. Select that. We want to remove this moon and we want to remove this moon. So we've clicked on them on the actual image. So if we exit out of here, we have essentially covered up those punches. Now let's click on the image again. We're going to go back to contour. And let's say they are all on there again, but we want to remove all of the punches. All we have to do is hit hide all contours. And now your star is completely solid. Now let's say that we've made them all appear. We select on the image. And let's say we have a ton of little moons over here. We have like 50 of them. It's hard to use this panel on the right if you have a lot of cutouts. That's why it's important that you can do it from this side or you can do it from this side. If you need to remove everything, then this is a good option to use this panel instead of clicking on all of them. If you need to click on and remove just certain pieces, the best way to do it is just to click on the image and then you see it's disappeared. So that's the contour button. Now, the one that I didn't go over exactly is the upload. We're going to go ahead and do that. So, if we go to images, images is going to take us to Design Space or Cricut Access or to that page that's got my personal projects. Let's click on it again. Remember, this is the stuff that was featured on the front page. And this is the operation type. The different, do you want something that has a single layer or do you want multiple layers? What type of project are you looking to cut? We've already gone over that. So if we go to upload, now these are things that I've uploaded to my Design Space. All right, these are things that I've cut out. Let's delete that. Yes. This was fabric vinyl. This was a glitter decal that I made. I have no idea what that is. This was for a cup that I etched without the Too Cute I Am. This is all rhinestone templates that I've made. This is for a donation box. We're going to delete that. I will never use that again. So, another way to do this is if I go up here and I hit upload image, I'm going to select browse. Let me pause this and find something on my desktop that we can use as an example. All right, so I found an image. I'm going to select browse. So you want to start here at upload. You want to go to browse. I want to go to my desktop. And I saw these women lips. It's pretty simple design. I'm going to select, this is pretty simple. I'm going to select simple and I'm going to hit continue. Now, because I own Cricut Access or I have Cricut Access subscription, I can select this button by hitting remove background. And so now this is only going to cut the lips. If I preview up here, it'll show me what the cut image is going to look like. So I'm going to hit hide image. But you know what? Let's go revert back to the original lips. Now, if you don't have Cricut Access, you're going to have these options here. You're going to have select. And what you're going to do is you're going to select a space that you want deleted. Now you see how it only deleted some of this space? Well, I still have to delete this corner because I don't want the machine to cut that. The inside of the lips, there's these pieces that are still there. So now I need to click on all of these items just to make sure I don't have any solid holes. Let's preview the image. So there's a couple pieces here that are not open. So let's hide that again. I need to make sure that I click on that and then I click on that. Let's preview the image again. And so now this is the same way it was done the first time. It's just a little extra work that you need to do to make sure that your image cuts out nice and clean. So then we hit apply and continue. And so I can print it and then cut the image. So it would cut out the outline area and then print the lips out. Or I can do the cut image. I want to cut this out of vinyl and stick this on a cup. So I'm going to hit cut image. I'm going to upload it. And so now it's in my recent uploads. So now if I select this image and I go over here to the right and add it to the canvas, now I can cut these lips out in vinyl or HTV. I can cut this out in HTV and iron that onto a t-shirt. You can actually, if you cut it out, if you do this on for iron-on, you want to make sure that you mirror it. Now, it's a set of lips and it really doesn't matter, but some things, if it was letters, you do have to mirror it and it's going to cut out backwards. But then when you flip over the carrier sheet and you're looking at it from the good side, then it's going to be in the right direction. All right, so I'm going to take the mirror off. I'm going to hit cancel. And like I said, we're not making a project today. This is just to get to know the tool operation buttons up here, the operation buttons down here, and over here in your layers panel. So Thanks guys for watching. I know it's a long video, but at least you know what these buttons are for and what they can do. In the next video, we will get in depth on how to use other features. So thanks for watching. Christy and Isabel, get your supplies together and make something. All right, guys, see you in the next video.